are looking at the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This is Extreme Legends, Dusty Rhodes and Jerry Lawler. My name is Joe Dombrowski. Thank you for joining us. Over the next 60 minutes, we're going to pay homage to two of the greatest, most timeless legends to ever step foot in the ring. But right now, it is Dusty Rhodes, one-on-one with the devil himself, the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan, the man who's followed the great Abuda Dean, the evil King Curtis, the master of the Army of Darkness. Sullivan spent much of his career trying to run Dusty Rhodes out of Florida Championship Wrestling. They sold out more times than just about anybody in Eddie Graham's territory back in the day. And it's Sullivan using that trademark golden spike up and down the body and into the heart of the American Dream. You see, Dusty brought his trademark bull rope into battle. He's dressed in his bunkhouse attire, but Sullivan has shut things down in a hurry. And the embodiment of evil that Sullivan is, he is unconscionable and remorseless. And Dusty is just trying to get a reprieve here, to catch his breath after he got assaulted before the opening bell, and Sullivan not letting it happen. Dusty is out on his feet. I'm not sure if he's aware where he is. And Sullivan dragging Dusty back into the ring area. I'm not sure if, as Sullivan with that heavy steel cowbell right to the skull of Rhodes. And a second time, I'm not sure if this match was advertised as a bull rope match or not, but it certainly seemed to have turned into one as Sullivan is scraping the sharp edge of that bull rope across the forehead of Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty Rhodes has been lacerated. Rhodes is bleeding badly. That cowbell dug deep into the forehead, reopened some scar tissue, and probably created some new scars. Rhodes tried to block the momentum carrying him into that ring post as Sullivan, like a shark to blood, zoning in on that cut and opening it every chance he has. And yeah, we're in South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the venue one time known as the ECW Arena. This crowd will be very loud and enthusiastic and opinionated. They respect Dusty, but I think in many ways they're in awe of how Sullivan has dominated this match. And Sullivan again, you can see the sadistic look on his face, the eyes rolling in the back of the head. Sullivan is channeling some otherworldly force that has told him to destroy Dusty Rhodes. And Rhodes has staggered to his feet, but Sullivan is relentless. And Dusty explodes with the elbow. The bread and butter of the American Dream. Dusty has pinpoint precision as he buries the right, and Sullivan caught in a very precarious position. And now Dusty has the cowbell. Dusty able to connect with a cowbell to the skull of Kevin Sullivan. And it's Sullivan who needs some space and time. And it's Dusty Rhodes now giving the Taskmaster a bit of his own medicine. And it's Dusty jamming that cowbell. Again, those sharp edges just digging deep into the flesh. You can still see the wound over Dusty's right eye. And And Sullivan has been busted. Those trademark Dusty Rhodes jabs. Little flip-flop and fly if you will, and the elbow connects. Oh, Dusty is feeling it now. But Sullivan found that spike again, and he just jammed the point of the spike right into the open wound on Dusty Rhodes. Sullivan firing back again with shot after shot. And Sullivan with a perverse look of pleasure on his face. As Sullivan once again trying to outright end Dusty Rhodes. Dusty again is trying to fight to his feet and taking as many shots as he can to get in one or two of his own. Dusty's got the cowbell to the midsection. And right between the eyes. The only thing keeping Sullivan on his feet are the ropes. Sullivan for the ride. Cowbell to the skull. Dusty the cover. American Dream the victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, top of the match, 7 minutes, 38 seconds, your winner, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
You're looking at the legendary Jerry the King Lawler. A man who's held championships, more championships than maybe any other wrestler in history. And there you see the smug disposition of a man who has been often referred to as perfect. Curt Hennig, with a swagger about him second to none, the Robbinsdale, Minnesota native. About 6'4" or 5", 257 pounds. Referee Jim Molyneux sounds for the bell. This is far from the first time these two athletes have met. Jerry Lawler defeated Curt Hennig for the AWA World Championship in, I believe, 1988. Hennig had proudly reigned as champion after defeating Nick Bockwinkel. That was the first singles championship of Perfect's. As again, this South Philadelphia crowd, something Curt Hennig has never really experienced to this degree. Obviously, he's had dozens of battles, if not hundreds, in Philadelphia. But this is the most vocal of the vocal. Of course, Curt Hennig went on to have an historic reign as Intercontinental Champion. He's been a World Tag Team Champion. He was a West Texas redneck. He was an executive consultant with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Not much Curt Hennig has not done. The son of Larry the Axe Hennig. The father of WWE's Curtis Axel. And there you see Hennig snap off a smooth, textbook-like scoop slam. Jerry Lawler, a timeless legend. I believe Lawler had his start in 1974 or so. Mentored by the original king of Memphis wrestling, Jackie Fargo. I don't know if Jackie Fargo ever encountered anything like Curt Hennig. A second seamless scoop slam. And Lawler's a brawler, Lawler's a puncher, he's a fighter. But let's not mistake or underestimate the technique Jerry Lawler brings to the table, as well as the King elevates Curt Hennig. Takes him down and a second time. And Hennig didn't expect that. Curt Hennig was looking to show off, looking to get style points. Hennig favoring his back. Hennig's got a history of back issues. Kept him on the shelf for over a year at one point in his career. And came back to haunt him again later on in his run. Of course, Hennig had become a color commentator at one point. We mentioned his relationship with Ric Flair. But Hennig had a bit of a career resurgence in the early 2000s. Post WCW. And Hennig at this point, in the best shape he'd been in a number of years, as Hennig backs Lawler into the corner, comes with the overhead blow for the ride now. Hennig ducks and Lawler elevated into a back body drop. And Curt Hennig, to use the old adage, if you're scoring on points, would have to be ahead at this point in time. Lawler has held Southern Championships, USWA Championships, Mid-South, Memphis Championships. Hennig sends Lawler for the ride, backed up again. Hennig ducked the head too soon, and Lawler, with arguably the hardest right hand in the business, a rare misjudgment by Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig. And Lawler zeroing in, Jim Molyneux trying to create some distance as Hennig is between the ropes. Lawler is a little impatient. We mentioned Lawler knows he can defeat Curt Hennig. He did it for the AWA World's title. Lawler's mentor, Jackie Fargo, the special referee of that match. So Lawler's career truly went full circle. Memorable title defenses from there on out with the likes of Kerry Von Erich, who Hennig also competed with for the Intercontinental Championship. Hennig backs Lawler into the corner. Lawler covering up, and Hennig trying to sneak in a couple of shots. He did so, and he takes Lawler down. Hennig, not a lot of respect for the King so far. Hennig feeling his oats here. He is completely at home. Lawler questioning those fists that Hennig had snuck in. Test of strength, and Lawler sneaks in a few jabs of his own. Those trademark lefts hit a big right at Hennig. Almost took out Bob Ortiz. The momentum carried Hennig completely over the top rope. In a bygone era, that could have been disqualification, but nothing doing here on this series as Lawler continues to pepper Hennig with the rights and not let Hennig back in the ring. Hennig threw the rope with the shoulder tackle, and you could hear the cracks of those right hands. Hennig finds himself back in. That knife edge was on the money. And trademark Curt Hennig offense. A perfect overhead snapmare. Hennig is breaking out the hits here and catches Lawler in a sleeper hold. The son of the axe, Larry Hennig, one of the things he was known for was those thick biceps that could squeeze the life out of you. Curt Hennig focusing on the carotid artery of the King. Lawler trying to get to the ropes before the lights fade. But Lawler may be out of it. Hennig could have this match won. Well, Lawler showed little signs of life. Lawler's got the hair. And again, a rich history here. We've seen both men bend the rules, to put it mildly. But Hennig, I think, could realize the tide was beginning to turn. And what? I thought that might have been the perfect plex, but a textbook suplex that time. Hennig on top. But a bit of a lax cover. I think Hennig, again, going for style points against the King, which may not always be the wisest move. And Lawler, back with the right hands. Lawler can be so sneaky. Hello. What? And Lawler, a stunner! Lawler's been doing his homework at ringside on Monday nights. And the King's gonna get him. No! Hennig just slides the left shoulder up at 2. Lawler's still a ways away before perfecting that maneuver, like certain other athletes may have. Hennig into the buckle. You can tell Kurt is out on his feet at this point. Hennig gets the scenic tour of the ring from top to bottom. And Lawler signaling pile driver. It's outlawed in 90% of this industry. And Lawler takes out the leg of Hennig. And Lawler with a toe hold. Shades of potentially one of his rivals, Terry Funk. I think Lawler saw an opening, saw Hennig out on his feet, and diverted from the pile driver plan. And maybe trying to get a submission, maybe trying to humble Kurt Hennig. Elbow down across the knee. Lawler zeroing in on that left leg. Hennig breaks the grasp. Drapes his good leg across Lawler's face. Hennig can't put weight on that bad leg yet, and that gives Lawler an opening. Oh, it's pile driver time. Not outlawed here. No, Hennig a back body drop. Oh, the move that put Andy Kaufman in traction has helped lead Lawler to defeating all the greats of the era from Hogan to Savage on down. But Hennig finds a way out. And it's Hennig with the right hands. Is Hennig going to pile drive Lawler? Are you kidding me? Oh, Hennig got him. A perfectly executed pile driver. Lawler planted on top of his head. Will this do it? Oh, Lawler is foot in the rope. Referee Jim Molyneux is adhering to the rules in perfect. None too pleased about it, but nothing he can do. Can you imagine if Lawler had been pinned with his own maneuver that he's made famous for so many decades? And Hennig can sense that weakness now. Lawler is all over the ropes trying to get free as Hennig relentlessly zeroing in on that neck. Again, you can see and feel the hard rights. Check out the wild look in Lawler's eye. I think Hennig might have just woken Lawler up. Done! down comes the strap. And the King ready to unload on Curt Hennig. The hard right, and Hennig is down. Lawler's had all he can stand, and he can't stand no more. And the King, the trademark fist drop between the eyes. Hennig is down. Oh, 2 count only. And now Lawler. Caught Hennig between the eyes again. Hennig is reeling on the defensive. Into the buckle. Oh, Hennig got the foot up. Lawler got caught unaware. Hennig's all over the ropes. Curt Hennig just stole it. Curt Hennig just stole this match. Curt Hennig stole this match. Highway robbery, feet all over the ropes. And I'm not sure if it was Lawler or if it was these fans, but apparently Jim Molyneux's been tipped off. Molyneux explaining that he couldn't call it because he didn't see it. His eyes were on Lawler's shoulders as they should have been. But Molyneux trying his best to investigate. Oh, was that wrestler's honor? Hennig is promising he didn't do a thing wrong. Wait a minute. Molyneux lowers Hennig's arm. Wait a minute. The match continues. Molyneux heard enough from the People's Court, and Curt Hennig snapping out Molyneux. Went Lawler the roll up. Molyneux the fast count. Jerry the King Lawler wins it. Lawler had the trunks, but man, karma is a you-know-what. The King escaped with a victory in Philadelphia. American Dream Dusty Rhodes is prepared for battle. He's not empty-handed. There are chairs in the ring. It is Madness from Jump Street. There you see, behind that table, the wild man from the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, talking about Terry Funk himself. There you see Abdullah the Butcher, the madman from the Sudan, 400-plus pounder.
I want to say one thing. I hate your ever-loving guts. You're a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. But I hate that son of a bitch in the ring a lot more than you.
Terry Funk is through the microphone at Dusty Rhodes' head. And with some very disparaging remarks, and Terry Funk is trying to form an alliance with Abdullah the Butcher. It's taken some of the most sinister minds in wrestling, Gary Hart, Skandar Akbar, Paul Jones, to control the madman from the Sudan. Will Terry Funk be able to do it? As Terry squares off with the man he has called an egg-sucking dog for so many years, and Dusty explodes with the right hands and the elbows. And Dusty's daring Abdullah to follow suit. You don't see Abdullah hang back and bide his time that often. That's what we're seeing here. Funk and Dusty tie up. I think Funk is trying to appeal to Abdullah. And Funk now turning on Abdullah. Funk, I look a little frustrated that Abdullah was not following Funk's orders. I don't know what exactly it takes to get Abdullah on your side, whether it's money, whether it's fresh carcasses. Abdullah is one of the most bloodthirsty athletes in the history of this business. And it looks like right now his victim's Terry Funk. To get an advantage. And now, oh, under the skull. It's never a fair fight with Abdullah the Butcher. He has terrorized Japan. He has dominated Puerto Rico. Every territory he's been in, he's instilled fear on all he's encountered. And it's no different here tonight as he is just relentlessly stabbing Funk and Dusty and now ripping away at the clothes of Funk to expose more flesh to potentially hurt. And Dusty wants some more. Unfortunately for him, he's going to get it. And this is like a hobby to Abdullah. This is bloodlust. It's sadism. Out of the arm. Abdullah loves to torture others. He gets pleasure through inflicting pain. He is unconventional. He is not catch as catch can. You're not going to learn any holds. Yes, he is adept at the martial arts, but he'd rather just stab you in the face with a fork. God. It's unsettling for some. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's Abdullah the Butcher in a nutshell. And Funk, his blood dripping into his eyes, his arm has been rendered almost useless from these repeated shots. You can see Funk's blood all over the torso of Abdullah, and Abdullah blocks the elbow with a fork. Abdullah has blocked the trademark elbow of Dusty Rhodes that has brought Dusty so many victories for decades. You see Funk's blood, that arm has been cut in several locations. Funk's blood is still all over Abdullah as this starts to resemble a crime scene more than a wrestling match. And you can hear the impact of that fork connecting with the flesh of the American dream. Look at Abdullah. He gets sick pleasure just from watching the blood squirt out of the forehead of Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty firing back. You gotta believe that was Funk that threw that chair. Inadvertently helping Dusty. And Funk ain't done yet. And keep in mind, Funk, oh God, Funk is reckless as usual, but he can barely see and he's got one good arm. Oh, chair to the skull of Abdullah, and now Funk and Dusty in a chair duel. Funk and Dusty have hated each other since about the 1970s, and I don't expect that to stop anytime soon. And Funk, a southpaw, left hands to both men. Abdullah catches Funk off guard, and again back to the fork to the arm. He's exposed. And Funk is trying to get the fork. Funk got the fork from Abdullah. Terry Funk has gotten the fork from Abdullah, and it's Funk now, driving the fork into the skull of Abdullah. And you see on shot number one, Funk has struck blood and ripped away at that scar tissue, and Funk is digging that fork deeper. Those crevices on Abdullah's skull, they're so deep and wide, you could put a quarter in it like a slot machine, and Funk was just jamming that fork that far down deep. And now it's Funk and Dusty exchanging jabs, and the Dream explodes. American Dream getting funky like a monkey. And the force of that shot took Dusty down. But Funk as well, as everybody in this match has lost a considerable amount of blood. And Abdullah, the only man standing, I'm not sure if he's found his fork. Yeah, he's got it. Funk had dropped the fork in the fracas with Dusty, and Abdullah zeroed right in on it. Oh, Funk went downstairs. And that's a feeling Abdullah has not felt often in his career. And Funk has finally taken Abdullah off his feet. It took 4 or 5 low blows. Abdullah's legs finally gave out on him, and now it's Dusty. I believe he's biting the skull of Abdullah. You've got Abdullah down, you got to keep him there. And now Dusty's down. Funk is dragging Dusty to the floor as this thing continues to break down. As if you'd expect it to go any other way. I think Dusty went downstairs on Funk before Funk tasted that guardrail. The Dream, a 3-time NWA World Champion. A member of every Hall of Fame that means anything. A creative genius. He gets credit for War Games, for Starrcade, the Bunkhouse Stampede. And this is a hell of a war Dusty finds himself in, as Dusty, Funk, and Abdullah all grab onto whatever they can get a hold of. Funk into the post and back into the ring. I don't know what Abdullah's preparing for. Oh, wait a second. Abdullah could execute that 450-pound elbow. Got him! Oh! Right in the chest cavity. The officials counting Funk and Abdullah because they're both down. The pinfall was invalid because Funk was in the ropes. Dusty's back in the ring. We won't see a count out, I don't believe. That was touch and go for a while there. I was listening into the official to see if Abdullah might have been declared the victor. And check out Funk. He's past middle age, but he's damn sure crazy. The rapid-fire headbutts to Dusty Rhodes, and everybody's down. Imagine this match ends in a triple countout. This is a true gore fest. And what Dusty outside the ring and on his feet, Funk's on his feet, Abdullah's up. And this will continue. What is Dusty doing? Dusty's dragging Abdullah down. Got the big man off balance. And Dusty wants to take this fight to the floor. Funk got it as well. The chair square to the skull, and Funk is out. And you see the official administer the count again, as these men have lost a tremendous amount of blood. They will be slow to get to their feet. They may need a transfusion after this match. But they don't give a damn at this point because pride is at stake. Abdullah, I don't know what the hell he hit Dusty with that time. But if it's not nailed down, it's fair game. And Dusty sent into the post. Dusty and Funk to their feet. Abdullah back in the ring. That fork back into play. And Dusty just hit Abdullah with his cowboy boot. Dusty took off his boot and using that as an offensive weapon. Abdullah is hurt. Funk has Dusty's boot. And Funk waylays Dusty upside the head with Dusty's own boot. This rivalry of two Texans plays out in the ring as Abdullah just has to try to get back in the ring to get in the fight. Again, the count is on, and Funk using referee Finnegan to get to his feet. Dusty's up, Funk is up. Maybe not. Wait a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the last man standing match,
Oh, Dusty just dropped John Finnegan. And John Finnegan called Terry Funk the winner. Dusty didn't answer the 10 count. And the cowboy boot right to the skull. That's a judgment call in my estimation. If Dusty wasn't up by 10, he was darn sure up by 10 and a half. But a game of inches, Terry Funk gets the win. Dusty's not happy, Abdullah's not happy, and they're going to keep beating the hell out of each other. Terry Funk may win on paper, but he doesn't look like a victor now at all. None of these men do. Well, Funk's left hand sent Abdullah's fork flying. Dusty still got his boot off. Abdullah the Butcher, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes. A rivalry for the ages, and it may never be done. This fight's continuing. Call the law. Lawler and Funk now. You talk about a storied rivalry. The early 80s in Memphis, Tennessee. Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler rewrote the book on a blood feud. And you can see the aggressive tie-up as both men jockeying for position here, for leverage, for anything they can get. Who could forget Funk and Lawler in the empty arena match in the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee? Someone I look up to very dearly, the great Lance Russell, was there to document that matchup that nearly cost Terry Funk his eye. It was violent, it was intense, it was career-changing, and all these years later, Lawler and Funk meet again, and you can see the hatred is as strong as it ever was. And John Finnegan just trying to get a break here. Funk is in the ropes. And now Funk resenting Finnegan. Terry Funk does not like anybody. Funk has called Lawler a pig. Called him overrated, mocked his status as a king. Funk, of course, from deep in the heart of West Texas. His father, Dory Funk Sr., legendary promoter. Terry and Dory Funk Jr., the only two brothers to be NWA World Champions. Funk beat Jack Briscoe for that honor. Lawler, an AWA World Champion, when he defeated Kurt Hennig. You can see the caution both men have as they approach one another. This Greco-Roman knuckle lock, this test of strength. You see Terry wind up that arm and drive the point of the elbow right into that tricep area. Funk is wrenching and ripping away at that arm, trying to take it home with him as a souvenir. And you know what? If you play your cards right, if you can get the right positioning and leverage, you could beat somebody with an armbar. Funk's looking to prove it. Ole Anderson spent years finishing off opponents with an armbar. And Ole Anderson made it count, and so too is Terry Funk at this point in time. And Funk drops down on top of the king. Lawler has no leverage as Funk is grinding his forearm into the back of Lawler's shoulder around the tricep to deltoid. Funk is looking for some skin and some meat to soften up. Funk continues to keep the arm crimped and now comes around the front with a half Nelson around Lawler's neck. And don't forget that Terry Funk is a very underrated mat wrestler and technician. We just touched on the fact he beat Jack Briscoe for a world championship. Jack Briscoe, largely considered to be the best technical wrestler of his era. Before Funk was doing death matches, before he went extreme, even before the empty arena match in Memphis, Funk could wrestle you however you wanted, and he still can. He just doesn't always choose to. Funk, you can see that hammerlock is cinched in high on Lawler. The higher that arm is on Lawler's back, the more that wrenches the shoulder out of its place. And Lawler backing Funk into the ropes, trying to get a break out of this. And Funk trying to give Lawler a break of another sort, wrenching and Terry gonna pop that shoulder out before Finnegan's able to get a clean break. And Lawler sneaks in a right hand. There's some karma for Terry Funk. And you can sense the disdain on both these men for each other. They will never trade Christmas cards. They will never trade pleasantries. And it's Lawler with the jabs. Funk is staggered. Funk is down. Lawler, some of the hardest right hands. You'll see. Oh, Funk! Funk just stumbles off the ring apron. Those right hands had taken Terry Funk's balance and maybe his wherewithal completely out of place. And Funk maybe is, oh, look out. Oh, Terry Funk's mad. As if it took much to get him there. Funk feels a bit humiliated by Lawler. Lawler caught Funk coming back in. Lawler knows this is a fight for survival. You can't hang back against Terry Funk or else he will take control. Lawler the fist drop a moment ago. Another trademark staple of Lawler's offense as Funk gets caught right between the eyes. John Finnegan doesn't want to see so many closed fists. I think he came to the wrong match. This is going to resemble a bar fight more than a Matt Classic by the time we're all said and done. We started out wrestling, and Lawler showing off the blood on the knuckles. I don't know if Lawler split Terry Funk open or if he cracked a knuckle, broke a knuckle on Funk's face. By Lawler's aim, I think that's Funk's blood on his hand. Yeah, Funk has been opened up. From the right hand alone of Jerry Lawler, if you need an example of how physical the King is, there you go. And Funk hits the floor. That's unprotected concrete. It is unforgiving. And Lawler playing Funk's game, and Funk's wearing that chair like a necktie. I'm not sure Funk understands what just happened to him. Funk is dazed and confused. I think that chair's choking him. Funk is caught in that chair, and Lawler a second chair. Funk had nowhere to go. That second chair may have acted as a bit of a concerto to send the first chair into the skull of Funk. One or more chairs have concussed the Funker as Lawler gets some input from ringside. And right in the back of Terry Funk. Lawler. Funk again, forehead first, right between the. Look out! Funk just hit a photographer. Funk, in a fit of rage, just threw that chair at a photographer. Lawler tried to wrench that rope up where the sun doesn't shine. I think Funk got back in before Lawler could. But Lawler still has that cut zeroed in on. Funk has not been able to get to his feet. Lawler may crack a knuckle yet on Funk's skull. Oh, Lawler daring Funk to hit him. Give me a free shot. And Funk's trying. I don't know if Funk can find him. Funk is down and the King is in all his glory. Well, Funk's in a bad way now. The King, second turnbuckle on the inside. The King drops the fist. That'll do it. Near fall. The King unable to put the Funker away. Terry Funk has perhaps the biggest pain threshold of anybody I've ever met. Well, Lawler enjoying himself now. Lawler taunting a few of these Terry Funk fans in attendance. And Funk downstairs. Terry Funk.
You piggy son of a bitch, get up! You goddamn asshole! Get up, run!
Let Terry Funk's editorializing speak for itself as Funk is now slapping Lawler around. And it's Lawler paying some dues as he gets sent to the ringside table. And what is Funk doing? Well, this kind of action originated in Memphis. Lawler is used to this, but man, you never get used to Terry Funk doing it. Lawler into the table. Oh. Funk a chair. Lawler tried to block it, but caught Lawler on the top of the head. Now, has that chair necktied around Lawler like Lawler had done to Funk earlier. Funk looking for some revenge. Oh, and the chair that was wrapped around Lawler's head got driven into the skull by Funk's chair. And what? Oh, no, Lawler gonna pile. Funk gonna pile drive Lawler. Funk just dropped his knees, and now a leg drop through the table. Funk didn't attempt to get the full-on pile driver, but he still drove Lawler's skull under that table and then dropped the leg. Lawler in a bad way, and Funk is looking for God knows what. You see Lawler amongst the wreckage. Funk has another table. And Lawler trying to fight his way out of the table remnants. Wait a second. A piece of table to the head. Funk back in the ring. Lawler back in the ring. We have a table in the ring. Who knows what's next? Oh, Lawler going for the pile driver. Lawler gonna pile drive Funk. Funk trying to kick his way out of it, but Lawler drilled him. And Terry Funk quivering in pain. Lawler's gonna get him here. No, Terry Funk the shoulder up. Terry Funk finds a way out of it. And you can count on one hand the men that have kicked out of Lawler's pile driver, but Terry Funk's one of them, and Terry Funk still wants to fight. And we've got Jerry Chance, we've got Terry Chance, and Lawler for a second pile driver. Lawler gonna elevate Funk again. He can't take two of these. No way. Oh, Funk got spiked. Jerry the King Lawler gonna pin Terry Funk once and for all. No! Terry Funk kicks out again, and the King is incredulous. Terry Funk sent to the floor an absolute bloody mess. And Lawler. No. A pile driver on the concrete. Lawler's gonna pile drive Terry Funk on his unprotected concrete. Don't do that. No. Funk is trying to fight out of it. No. Oh, Lawler may have just ended Terry Funk's career. Oh, not again. Lawler a second stunner to Terry Funk. Oh, and Terry Funk downstairs. Terry Funk with an ultimate equalizer, and Funk with a stunner to Lawler. Funk dropped the King On, the King gets a foot on the rope. The King barely got saved by ring positioning, but Funk goes right for the Philadelphia staple, that wooden table. And Funk has Lawler. Are you kidding me? Pile driver. Funk just hit Lawler with Lawler's own pile driver. And Funk doesn't want to beat him. That would have been the ultimate sign of superiority, beating Lawler with his own maneuver, but Funk has something else in mind. You gotta be kidding me. Pile driver or Lawler counters? Lawler counters and avoids the table just barely. Oh, now Lawler got a pile drive Funk. Oh, no! Oh, Funk's skull cracked through that table. That's gotta be it. No question. What? Terry Funk is still fighting. This man is insane. Terry Funk, as long as there's a breath in his body, he won't stop fighting for what he believes in. As Lawler, what is this, a fifth pile driver? Funk elevates it, sunset flip. Funk reverses it, traps his shoulder, drives with the legs. Terry Funk just beat Jerry the King Lawler. What a way to cap off Extreme Legends. Dusty Rhodes and Jerry Lawler, the hardcore legend, the Funker, gets a victory. Thank you for joining us.